Southern-bred, Southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the junkyard dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Tide and Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here, am I on? Can somebody respond?
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Hump Day in the Doghouse. Now, we do have a truncated show for you today because of afternoon baseball coming up. Love us some afternoon baseball. But on this day that we have afternoon baseball, we are going to honor and celebrate the life of the greatest baseball voice of my lifetime. And I got to be honest with you. I dare say the greatest baseball voice ever, Vin Scully, has passed away at the age of 97. Look, every generation thinks their generation had the greatest voices or the greatest this or that. Our generation, my generation, these guys that we've lost over the last several years, these are the greatest voices. I don't know what people long after I'm gone, 25, 30 years from now, 40 years, I don't know who you're going to talk about like these guys. I don't think there is anybody like this generation of voices that covered baseball from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. I don't know who that guy is. I mean, John Miller, to me, is the best one alive right now, who does, by the way, a great, great Vin Scully. But in any event, Scully was the master, working in one-man booth most of his career. He was his own color commentator with tons of information prepared for every broadcast. He was the king of the anecdote. I mean, he had an anecdote for everything. It was amazing. The stuff you would learn. I used to watch the Dodgers late night for 2 or 3 innings. When I got extra innings for the first time, I don't know, 10 years ago or whatever, I would watch the Dodger game. I don't even like that. In fact, I hate the Dodgers. I would watch the Dodger game if Vin Scully was on the game because he was just doing home games at the end of his career. I'd watch the Dodger game for 2 or 3 innings just to listen to Vin Scully and hear him tell stories. And I hate the Dodgers. That's how powerful it was with him as a broadcaster. So we're gonna give you some sound, and we're gonna talk to a guy today coming up in a few minutes, baseball historian and author Kurt Smith, who wrote the definitive book on Vin Scully and wrote many books about broadcasting. He will join us coming up in about 20 minutes. Josh Carey is moved to tomorrow. Ironically, Josh Carey, the grandson of Harry Carey, one of the contemporaries of Vin Scully, another one of those generational guys, and the son of Skip Carey. And certainly, Josh, I'm sure, has Vin Scully stories and thoughts and feelings. But I only have an hour today. So Josh will join us tomorrow, and we'll get that in tomorrow. Also today, we learned that Eli Gold, my good friend, Eli Gold, who has been struggling all summer with a medical issue that has had him hospitalized at times over the summer, is going to miss the upcoming season of Alabama Crimson Tide football. Chris Stewart, who called the spring game and is the logical replacement down the road, will fill in this season, and no decisions have been made about the future. But Eli, who is 68 and has been on the Tide, has been the voice of the Tide since 1988, 34 years. Meaning, by the way, he was only 34 when he got that gig. He is signed through the 23 season, and he has said in the past that he expected to broadcast beyond that. And we've seen numerous broadcasters in the SEC broadcast into their late 70s and even into their 80s. That's what Eli expected and expects to do. Eli's not dead, but we don't know the status of his career. I'll be honest with you, I'm very concerned that they made the decision now that he is out for the whole. Look, the football season is 5 months: September, October, November, December, and with Alabama, January. The football season extends about 5 months. They're making a decision for 5 months right now. They're saying right now Eli is not. They're not saying that they'll take it game to game. They're not saying that hopes to return by October, hopes to return for the bowl game, the national championship. They're saying out for the entire season. This is concerning to me. Very concerning to me personally. It's also very concerning to me personally that I've had very little contact with Eli over the summer, and I've reached out to him time and time again. And he generally, he responds immediately. I mean, he and I were splitting Birmingham Bowl games. He basically got me the Birmingham Iron gig. I met Eli Gold 22, 23 years ago in an airport. He was doing the AF2 championship game on TNN on the Nashville network, and I was doing it on radio, and I met him in an airport in Chicago. And we flew together on a plane back to, well, for me, I was going back to Florida. We flew together to Atlanta. He was going back to Birmingham, and I was going back to Florida. We sat together on a plane, got to know each other. When my son went to Alabama, Eli did the orientation for freshmen, and my son was able to go down on the field and talk to Eli, and he befriended him. Eli kind of took him under his wing, which was cool. And we just have had a long-time relationship. And when he was unable to do, the Birmingham Iron wanted Eli Gold to be the voice of the Birmingham Iron in the Alliance. And he was unable to get it done because of his conflicts that he had at the time with Alabama baseball and other broadcasting. Eli Gold is the one that told them that I'm the man to hire. He recommended me. You get a recommendation for Eli Gold, you get the job. And then he had me work the Birmingham Bulls games with him. Games that he missed. I do 15, 18 games a year. This past year, Eli asked me to do more, to be the primary broadcaster for the Birmingham Bulls. And I begged off because of the travel and just too much. I ended up doing a bunch of Havoc games, but it was just too much to go all the way down there. I had looked at properties in the past, in the not too distant past. I've looked at properties in places like around Cullman and in that area, Vinemont and stuff, because I wanted to be between Birmingham and Huntsville because it looked like I was doing more and more stuff in Birmingham. Of course, when we didn't know what was going to happen with the Iron. But I was doing Bulls and Iron, and I'm like, this is nuts. I need to be 45 minutes north of Birmingham and 45 minutes south of Huntsville. We looked at we had a property bought basically in that area and couldn't close on it because we didn't get our house sold in Tennessee in time. So that's how that relationship goes. And I'm concerned. I'll be honest with you. I'm really concerned because I haven't been able to talk to him. I text him and I've called him weekly for the past month and a half, 2 months, and have had one communication with him. And that was 2 months ago. I don't know what's going on. Not that I need to know. I'm on a want-to-know basis, not a need-to-know basis. Eli also, of course, has had an iconic career as the voice of NASCAR with MRN. He retired from NASCAR a few years ago. Eli Gold was on the call for MRN the moment Dale Earnhardt died. Eli was very close with Dale Earnhardt. The moment Dale Earnhardt died, and anytime you see highlights from that or a documentary about it, they usually play the the radio call. They don't play the TV call. They play the radio call.
Michael Waltrip showing the muscle. Everything stacks up from third on back. Dale Earnhardt gets turned sideways. He'll take Schrader. Earnhardt and Schrader are in the wall. Waltrip leads off 4. Sitting directly in front of me, the Ken Schrader car and the Dale Earnhardt car. Earnhardt was on the low side of the racetrack. Someone turned his car. He went shooting up the banking directly into the route that Kenny Schrader was occupying. Schrader now very quickly calling over for the medical crews to come to attend and check on Dale Earnhardt. So Schrader, climbing from his car, very quickly ran to the number 3, peers into the car, and calls to the medical crews who are quickly coming to the scene.
A describer. He's a describer of events. So thoughts and prayers are with Eli Gold for a recovery that will get him back on the mic, but it won't be this fall. And Chris Stewart, who is very, very capable. Chris is a friend as well. Anybody that's been a broadcaster in this state for 20 years is going to be friends with Chris Stewart, and I think he's extremely capable, extremely capable. And if Eli ends up retiring, I think Chris Stewart's the logical choice. Very good. Very good. All right, the phone lines are open momentarily. You can get in at 256-576-4977. You can also text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. I take and respond to pretty much all of them, whether they're positive or negative. I'll be honest with you. I've got a listener that's not happy with me because of my take on the Deshaun Watson situation. He misinterpreted me saying that I thought the punishment was just at 6 games as being a apologist for Deshaun Watson's behavior. All I'm saying is that it's the punishment has to be consistent. You can't let the owners do some of the stuff that the owners do. And in a nonviolent situation like this, which was not illegal, skeevy, the guy's a dirtbag, it's scummy, but it's a reasonable, my take. Of course, am I colored by orange and brown glasses? Probably. But I've got a listener that loves my show, thinks my show's the best show on the radio in the Tennessee Valley and all of that. I appreciate all of that. But he's not happy with me right now. And I appreciate his thoughts on that. And I respond to them. I don't pander, but I tell it the way I see it as best as I can. My personal Twitter feed's at Tom Abraham Show. The station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. You're watching the show on Facebook at 97.7 ESPN and on Twitch and our YouTube channel at WZZN TV, where you can like and subscribe and get notifications. Go to 977ESPN.com, get links to all of that. Don't forget, coming up this afternoon on the Blitz, our sister station, at 2, the afternoon Blitz with young Captain Cool and the Bandy Man and Smokey Mike Honcho. And you can tune in each morning over on the Blitz for the recruiting Blitz with Double D, Drew DeArmond, from 9 to 10. Now, joining me in a few minutes, as I said, baseball historian and author Kurt Smith, who wrote the definitive book on Vin Scully. But another guy that is a historian of sorts when it comes to sports, a guy who loves radio broadcasts as well and is an old soul when it comes to that kind of stuff. And he loves playing the Platters that Matter and the Stacks of Wax. For me, it's DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. That Tom? Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the f*** it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Tough day losing Vin Scully and losing Eli Gold for the fall for football this season. We thoughts and prayers with Eli that he can get back to doing his thing. But we lose Vin Scully at 97 years old, and that's that's a pretty historic deal.
Yeah, that's huge. And when you were saying earlier, when you were talking about guys that you kind of, you respect as, guys that can call a game and guys that do a really good job. I think
who's this generation's.
I mean,
Eli
if
Gold
you're a Braves fan, I don't know how you can't like Ben Ingram. I mean, I don't know how you can't like what he does, what he brings every ball game. He describes the ball game perfectly well. He gets ecstatic. I think Jim Powell's great too. I think he does a great job. I think I'm a little bit of a homer here, but
it's like I like Michael Kay, but I don't think I don't think 50 years from now they're going to talk about Ben Ingram and Michael Kay like they talk about Vin Scully,
of course, and
Harry Carey, and you look at the guys of that generation, Red Barber. I mean, this was when. That's what it was. It was a talking game. You know what I mean? Baseball was the great talking game, and now it's more of a TV thing.
Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of times, I guess, like you said, I'm an old soul, so I kind of gravitate to the radio. So I always like radio calls. I mean, I don't know how anybody wouldn't if you're not there, obviously you're not at the game or you can't watch it. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't put it on the radio or have it on the radio while you're driving down
with the radio call
or watch it with the TV on. Yeah,
how many people do that with Eli?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the Tide.
Plenty of people. I think you could talk. I bet you could walk out and you could talk to you could talk to plenty of people that'll say, yeah, I'd rather listen to the radio broadcast with the TV on.
Yeah,
I mean it's much better than a lot of the stuff they put on TV, and I get it. TV's king and everything like that, but I still respect the hell out of radio, and it's really fun to be able to listen to a broadcast because I mean guys can do it really well, like Vin Scully, where you feel like you're there. You can close your eyes and just listen to the game, and boom, you're feeling the same experience. You know what I mean? So
what year were you born?
89.
89.
Yeah.
89.
Yeah.
This is the year. This is the last World Series before you were born.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened.
A great line. What a great line. Now, do you know what that is?
Kirk Gibson.
Year before you were born.
Yeah.
What a phenomenal line. And he would mark events that happened. He would say the day and the time when it happened. The date. He would tell you the date. When Sandy Koufax had his no-hitter in 1965. That's where I got that, 1900 and, when I say that way. All right, I'll tell you what, let's get a break. I want to get to Kurt Smith, all right? And I got a lot of sound I've gathered up for the different things here. It's just...
Yeah, because we didn't even play the catch. We didn't even play his call of the catch, Vin Scully. I thought that was a great call, too.
An NFL call.
The NFL call. Yeah. I'm just talking about great calls.
He was outstanding on pro football. You know what else he was outstanding on? Was golf. I mean, Vin Scully at the Masters was amazing, and I think he did U.S. Open tennis as well.
You know who's amazing at golf calls? Steve Moulton. Steve Moulton.
Oh, Steve Moulton.
You can watch that on ETV.
Vin Scully, right, Steve Moulton. Steve told me this morning that he actually he worked for he was a producer for Vin Scully for Westwood One during the World Series for the World Series broadcast in '96 and '99. That he was assigned to Westwood One to be the producer for Scully.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. All right, let's get a break. When we come back, Kurt Smith. He joins us next right here on the Thom Abraham Show. Truncated version, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Braves and Phillies again tonight. Atlanta minus 135 on the money line in Game 2. Philadelphia at plus 125, 7.5 the set total. The NFL preseason kicks off tomorrow in Canton, Ohio, part of Hall of Fame week. The Raiders will take on the Jaguars, with Jacksonville currently a 1-point favorite in the exhibition. The over-under set at 30.5. Preseason for the rest of the league will begin the following week. UFC Fight Night Saturday in Vegas, a highly anticipated light heavyweight bout between Thiago Santos and Jamal Hill. Hill a solid minus 275 favorite, Santos at plus 215. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now, because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A couple of isolated showers possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. It does look like many of us are probably going to end up staying dry. Typical summer afternoon across the Tennessee Valley for sure. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 90s, dropping into the upper 60s and lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Another partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hold your block until the whistle blows.
From SEC Media Days to the National Championship Game.
This was a great team win.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We're talking baseball. Klazuski, Campanella talking baseball. The man and Bobby Fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Nuke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque. Especially Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage.
One Robbie going out, one coming in. Kiner and Midget Goodell.
North Alabama Mortgage for all of your mortgage needs. It's North Alabama Mortgage. They can take care of you and do a tremendous job. And look, lock in with the mortgage rate right now. And you can do that refi. You can get that work done around your property. And, it's very competitive right now. It's very hard to buy a new property. And so when you're buying a new property, it can be very, very difficult. And if you are pre-approved with North Alabama Mortgage, you got an excellent opportunity to get that approval, all right, if you have it set up that way. So are you guys still having trouble with it? You think it's the phone? I can maybe try something at my end. I don't know if that'll make a difference, but I would think that we would be able to get it done. Let me try this. Live radio. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know why we would have that problem, Grizz. I'd be totally honest with you.
Also, when I call him on my cell phone, it doesn't even give me a ringtone at all. Like, it doesn't ring at all.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's like yesterday when we talked to Reese Davis, and I called him, and he was like, "Yeah, if you're not in my phone, you don't get
listen
in there."
Listen to this.
There you go. You can
Maybe.
Start it sounds
we'll
better.
see.
It sounds nicer on that.
It does sound good at my end.
Where'd you get that? Is that more money?
I can do it sometimes. It's just see, there you go. Kurt Smith joins us now. Yes, and so see, I'm able to do it. I don't know what's going on from the studio, but I'm able to do it from my studio, which is good.
Right.
And Kurt, by the way, for those of you that are watching on WZZN TV, I am holding up right now a copy of the book "Pull Up a Chair" by Kurt Smith. This is the definitive work on Vin Scully, the Vin Scully story. This is one of many, many, many books that Kurt Smith has written, and of course, Voices of the Game. He also ranked the top 100 voices in baseball, and of course, Vin Scully was at the top of that list, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. He joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Kurt, welcome in. How are you?
Just fine, Tom, and you?
I am fantastic, and this is one of them things that it's coming, but when it comes, it kind of shocks the system a little bit, right?
Well, it does to some extent because Scully's poetry and literacy and simply the way that he orchestrated a game was so timeless that you thought he might be timeless too. And of course, the big guy upstairs has called him home, and I can just see, Vin Scully always opened every game by inviting his audience to pull up a chair. I can see the good Lord upstairs asking Vin to pull up his chair because this is a great life, and I had the privilege of recording it for the book as you suggested, and he brought a certain elegance, and he had an affinity with the average Joe that really made him quite special, and not simply in my book, but Tom, I have probably asked over the years, I'd say 75, 80 broadcasters who's the greatest of all time. Without question, they said Scully. I mean, why not? They would be committed if they didn't, I think. And he broadcast the Dodgers for so long. He began in 1950, and then when the Dodgers moved to Los Angeles, he, of course, went with them and broadcast really through 2016. That's 67 years of broadcasting, a single team, by far the greatest number of years, not simply in baseball, but in any sport. And, of course, he's been named, I think it was the National Association of Broadcasters or Sportscasters that named him the top sportscaster of all time, not simply in baseball, but in others as well. So it was a great life. He was a devout Roman Catholic who went to Mass regularly. So I think, in a sense, his wife died, Sandy, in 2021. So he may have been looking forward, actually, to this day for quite a while.
Yeah, and, here's my definitive explanation of how great Vin Scully was. I hate the Dodgers. As a Yankee fan, I hate the Dodgers. Can't stand them. And,
I didn't know that, Tom.
No, yeah. I was a Yankee fan? Probably not. Anyway, so I hate the Dodgers. So what I would do when I first got extra innings, and had to be able to watch the TV coverage, Vin was at the end of his career just working the home games on TV. I would literally, I'd get in bed, I'd climb in bed, watch a show with my wife, whatever. She would fall asleep, and I would watch 2 or 3 innings of the Dodger game if Vin was on the game just to listen to Vin Scully tell stories. And I hate the team. That's crazy.
No, it's not. It makes a great deal of sense. It shows you could be discriminating in the best sense of that term. But he brought every quality that you would want, not simply to the baseball broadcasting booth, but broadcasting any sport or any news event of any kind. You know, he had proportion, Tom. He never really openly rooted for the Dodgers, or in fact rooted for them, at least on air. He had an affinity, as I said, with the average man. There was a privacy to him. He would woo and inveigle, but Tom, he'd never overwhelm you. You never thought of Vin back off just a bit. There was a reliability to him. He once said, this is probably 10 years ago, if I recall, that maybe over his career, because of illness, he had missed 5 games. 5 games in all of those years. But it was language in the end. There was a music to that language, and a number of lines that I can just remember in terms of Scully.
Yeah.
Remember him saying that it was so hot today the moon got sunburned, for example.
Yeah. Well, and here's something else that he did, and broadcasters have a telltale thing that sometimes they're known for, and he had so many, as you named your book, Pull Up a Chair. That was something that he said, but I thought this was a great one. Take a listen.
Fernando ready, and the strike 2 pitch is hit back to the box, dribbling to second. Samuel on the bag, throws to first, double play. Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter at 10:17 in the evening of June the 29th, 1990. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
So there's 2 things there that I think the date and the time. He did that. Remember, for Sandy Koufax no-hitter, 1965
for the perfect game in 1965.
Yeah, 1965. He would give us the date and the time, that sense of history, and then also it was 1990. So what's that? 32 years ago. I don't know that we could throw a sombrero right now. You probably would get lambasted if you said throw a sombrero in this day and age.
Well, maybe he would not, though.
Yeah.
There was a certain reverence for Scully that I think was quite justified. But I think of a couple lines that come to mind. He was talking once about twilight's little footsteps of sunshine, or, for example, there was a time when the fielder, as Vin said, he catches the ball gingerly like a baby chick falling from the tree. That's simply beautiful. It really is. You don't have to know a sacrifice bunt from a Baltimore chop to understand the magic that he brought to the air.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, too. It went beyond, well, first of all, from a social standpoint, I mean, he had described so many things that happened in our history, including, when he hit the air on September 17th, 2001, explaining to the country before the first Dodger game, then, what the thoughts of what this country had been going through. And this was a guy that had been around a minute, so he knew. Yeah. But he was so elegant talking about something that was, out of his lane, you would think, but he was great describing the pain of a country coming off a terrorist attack.
Well, he was. He had served in the Navy in World War II. He was a great patriot. Every D-Day, for example, Tom, if people did not remember it, he would remember it for them in terms of D-Day being the seminal event of the 20th century. So he had a great proportion. He said once to me that on road trips, a book was my best friend. He got tired of the politicking and the empty rhetoric, and he would simply read, not read about baseball. Right. He would read about history. He would read about the country, and which made him an extraordinarily, I think, almost Renaissance kind of man.
Yeah, one of our program director here worked Scully's booth in the 96 and 99 World Series for Westwood One in Atlanta, and he said that he would walk into the booth. He worked it as the producer in the booth, and he would walk in the booth, and Scully had all these sticky notes all over the place. I mean, all over the thing. And I figure he's just reading the media guide. You know what I mean? He's just reading a note. He was the king of the anecdote. He was his own color commentator, but yet he did that research and he had sticky notes for everything so that he was prepared. Now, that was national teams as opposed to his own Dodgers. So maybe he had to do a little more research, but it was amazing. He was the king of the anecdote.
Well, and he would read newspapers during the day, and things that would come to his attention, he would tear them out of the paper. He did it the old-fashioned way. He was late, like many of us, including me, late in coming to technology. And his way was the best, I think. Yes, he used the computer, things of that ilk, but boy, he was a newspaper guy, really, at heart, and a reporter and a poet. You don't get that amalgam very often.
I'm over here laughing because when I started my radio career, and this is crazy to say, but this fall, Kurt's 25 years on the radio for me. So when I started my radio career, Kurt and I worked together, and Kurt would show up in the studio, and this is the late 90s, and he would have 3 or 4 newspapers. His hands would be covered in newsprint. He'd have stuff circled. He'd have a pen, and he'd have stuff circled in the newspaper, and he would sit there, and he would come out, and he would read the paper to us, and we would comment on the stories and the things in the paper. So, I know about a guy that did it the old way.
I've never liked a cheetah listener. Of course, Scully, that was never in danger with him. His music changed tunes within a batter. One pitch might recall a Brooklyn Dodgers stopper, and the next might elude the catcher, and Scully would remember the Ancient Mariner, and he would say, "He stoppeth 1 and 3." Or of an infield hit, he would quote Eugene O'Neill, and that is, "A humble thing but thine own." So he was the entire prize. There's no quality that he lacked.
And he was great on multiple sports, as you said. He called the catch, the famous 49ers Cowboys game, Dwight Clark, the catcher. He was outstanding on the Masters. He had the reverence and the knowledge. He was great at the layout, in terms of letting it breathe. I think he did the U.S. Open. Didn't he do tennis for CBS?
He did do tennis.
He did the U.S. Open. So
in the 1970s, right.
And look, you got him number one. I got him. Everybody says he's number one. I know you and I aren't going to be here 40, 50 years from now. Who is going to pass him? I mean, how is this not the greatest ever? End of story. Let's talk about who could be number two.
I can't think of anything because he went to a Catholic school. He got a very diligent, if you would, education there. Then he went to Fordham Prep. Then he went to Fordham University. So that and he was almost a lexicon, a thesaurus, if you would. He could pluck out of the air verbs that you'd never heard of, and use them, and not in a boastful way, but really in a way that added just a sense of class, if you would, to everything he did.
Now I'm going to link these two things together because I want you, as the guy who is the ultimate critiquer of broadcasters, to take a listen to this. Now, our friend Eli Gold is battling with a health issue, and he has already been announced that he's down for the season. He's 68 years old. He's signed through next season and wants to continue for years beyond. He is from Brooklyn. He is certainly a Ving Scully fan. But take a listen. This is Eli Gold in 2009 at the Rose Bowl when Nick Saban wins his first national championship with Alabama at the Rose Bowl. Listen to this call at the end and tell me if this isn't influenced by somebody.
26 seconds to go. Bama's going to take a knee at the 30-yard line. The victory formation. And that is going to do it. 20 seconds remaining. 19, 18, 15 seconds remaining. Alabama wins its 13th national championship. And the roses in this grand old stadium are once again crimson.
Now, see, where did he learn that?
Lovely touch, yeah.
Yeah, where did he learn that, right? Is it the descriptiveness, the detail?
From Scully, yeah. And, of course, Red Barber broadcast in Brooklyn as well, another marvelous wordsmith. Yeah. So that's a great legacy for Eli Gold to utilize. And, of course, has such a great voice. And all of your listeners, I'm sure, have seen the Southeastern Conference documentary, Saturdays in the South, and he plays a prominent role. But it's a great loss, but in a sense, he leaves behind 5 children. I'm talking about Scully here.
Yeah.
21 grandchildren.
You just scared a bunch of people in Alabama.
26 great grandchildren.
Yeah.
So he is, just in a league in a league of his own.
And broadcasters all over the country who learn from Vin Scully. He leaves them behind as well. Yeah.
They do, because I've talked to them all over the country, and they put Scully in a league of his own, as I said. And finally, quoting from The Natural, the best there ever was.
Yeah.
There's no question the fact it was Vincent Scully.
And we all love our local guys, and we have Ben Ingram coming up here in a few minutes to do the Atlanta Braves, and that's something that is, all Braves fans love him. They love Skip Carey. Josh Carey is now the voice of the Rocket City Trash Pandas, and I love John Sterling. I think John Sterling will be thought of fondly, when that day comes. He's getting very close to being done. He's only doing about half the games now. Yeah.
Well, it's been great talking. I've got a Zoom.
I know you got a jet. Yeah.
Learning how to.
There you go. Go
how
Zoom.
To utilize that.
Go Zoom. Go Zoom. That ought to be funny. All right, Kurt. I appreciate you, man.
Tom,
Good stuff.
it's been great talking to you and great talking to your listeners.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. There you go. That's the great Kurt Smith, and we got to him a little bit late, so but he's got to go off to his own. All right, we're gonna get a break in here. When we return, we do have time to get the phone lines open. We also should tell you that not only is there Braves baseball coming up, but before Braves baseball, right at the top of the hour, Nick Saban with his, pre-camp speech, his State of the Tide speech, if you will. Nick Saban coming up at the top of the 11 o'clock hour, okay? So what you're going to get is Saban at 11, and then when he's done, we'll join the pregame, and you won't miss any of the baseball game as well. So we got plenty going on here for you coming up today. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back with more right after this on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. I'm sorry, I can't operate on that vehicle.
But doctor, you took an oath.
That RV, it's my son's RV.
Oh, doctor, isn't there anything you can do?
I'm not a miracle worker, Sheila. I'm an RV surgeon, trained to save the lives of large injured recreational vehicles, which is definitely a real profession.
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of the Stanton Law Firm. Stan, I guess you are the Stanton in the law firm.
Yes, Wes, that's me, and we started the Stanton Law Firm so that myself and 4 other attorneys with me can help clients litigate, negotiate, and creatively solve legal and real estate problems.
Now, Stan, you grew up on a family farm in this area and have made a name closing on houses and land with your closing company, Jacob Title.
I grew up on a farm which used to be in the country. That, plus having closed on so many homes and farms, one of my colleagues started referring to me as a classic dirt lawyer. Now, I didn't know how to take that at first, that tag, but I realized that's exactly what I do and what I am.
Stan, I know the attorneys at Stanton Law Firm are regular listeners, and we plan to have you on periodically. You and I have seen have impacted this community.
Stay tuned, and you may hear about friends like Steve Booker, Clarence Johnson, Thomas Boyd, and even a few of those offensive line hogs like Hoss Johnson, and maybe you remember some other of those guys too.
I remember Clarence Johnson. He beat us one year. He was unbelievable.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A couple of isolated showers possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. It does look like many of us are probably going to end up staying dry. Typical summer afternoon across the Tennessee Valley for sure. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 90s, dropping into the upper 60s and lower 70s as we head into the overnight. Another partly sunny sky for your Thursday. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Local sports is covered right here.
Well, appreciate what you guys do for sports, but also for high school sports and taking time to talk to us. That means a lot, and appreciate what you guys do, and appreciate you having us on.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Freebird is brought to you by Valley Equipment Rental. Hearing that reminds me that I have not listened to the entirety of the 10 minutes of Freebird in my headphones in a couple of months. I usually do it at least once a month where I'll just crank it, shut my eyes, lean back, and play the entire glorious 10 minutes of Freebird. And I think I might do that. Since I don't have a second hour of the show, I might do that at that particular point in time. We're going to see. But Valley Equipment Rental, 2 locations now to take care of you and to serve you properly and to make sure that the contractor gets what they need with the big excavators, the dozers, more room for more big equipment out at the north location, which is north of Winchester Road on the North Parkway. And then, of course, the existing location still there on the South Parkway by Drake. And look, more excavators, more skid steers, more lifts, more of everything than anybody in the market. And they're locally owned. Ross Roberts and his team, they're just tremendous. They do a great, great job for you. And, with the weekend coming up, if you get in and get your piece of equipment and pick it up after 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday, it's yours until you bring it back on Monday morning. All right? So check that out. It's a good weekend to get some stuff done. Yes, we have a football game tomorrow night, Grizz. We have the Hall of Fame game tomorrow night. And I know that Trevor Lawrence isn't playing, and I don't know who's going to be playing for the Raiders. It's the Raiders and the Jaguars, as the Jags have their first member going into the Hall of Fame in Tony Baselli. So usually that's what they do. They, to placate the fan base that will come to Canton, Ohio, to see their guy get, enshrined in the Hall of Fame. They usually have teams that have something to do with the guys that are going into the Hall of Fame. So it's the Raiders and the Jaguars. Look, we watched some USFL football. We watched the Birmingham Stallions on that same field win the USFL championship. I watched some of the CFL games, CFL game the other night between Winnipeg and Calgary. I watched some of that. So it's not like we haven't seen football played. You can't look at the NFL network or the SEC network and not see historical games. You're going to see that all the time. So it's not like in the old days where we would go 4 or 5 months and not see any football. And the first football we saw was the Hall of Fame game. Having said all of that, I'm watching a Hall of Fame game tomorrow night, Chris. Aren't you?
Of course I'm going to watch the Hall of Fame game. It's football. Doesn't matter.
I saw a stunning note. The NFL is considering doing away, of course, with the Pro Bowl. You probably saw that story. They don't want to do. Oh. It's horrible, right? I mean, it's just a horrible football game. So they're actually considering doing away with the Pro Bowl. There's one problem with doing away with the Pro Bowl. More people watched the Pro Bowl last year than watched the final game of the Warriors-Celtics series of the NBA. They're like, what do we do with these 8 million people that watch this abomination? And they're like, do we do a skills competition? We're not going to have a game in the sand like they did with the rookies that cost Robert Edwards his career. You know what I mean? When they played flag football in the stand. They can't do that. They don't know what to do. The problem with the Pro Bowl is it's horrific, right? Bunch of guys just standing around. They don't compete. They don't tackle to the ground. It's nothing. It's horrific. And 8 million people watch it. How do you replace it? You got to put something on.
It's like a Madden Ultimate Team. I mean, it's like watching your fantasy team out there. You know what I mean?
Didn't they do that in the pandemic here? Didn't they have a Madden game?
Yeah,
they had a Madden game. They had like football players play Madden against each other.
Yeah, I forgot who the two players that got to play it, but yeah.
Maybe that's what they need to do.
Just make it Madden. Yeah, make it simulated.
Make it like a Madden game. Look, we're eulogizing Vin Scully. I don't want to confuse two things. We're eulogizing Vin Scully. We are not eulogizing Eli Gold. Eli Gold is alive, not so well, but alive. Okay? And he has been battling with a health issue all summer long. We haven't talked about it because it didn't feel appropriate to talk about it, but it came up on a show earlier down in Mobile on WNSP. So we figured, well, since they mentioned it, we might as well mention it. And then, of course, it came out. The story came out just before airtime at AL.com, and a release had come out from Alabama saying that Eli Gold will miss the upcoming season. So we're not eulogizing Eli Gold, but we are looking back at some of the great calls. And I don't know, by the way, we may or may not have Nick Saban's presser at the top of the hour. We're working on it. They may not have live technology for it, so we're working on it. If we don't have it, they'll have it later on. I'm sure they'll have it later on the drive. They may even have it on the blitz. If the blitz guys are on the ball, they will get the audio of it, and you can go over to the blitz 2 to 4 this afternoon and take a listen to it there. And I'm sure that they might have it there. But I know that they'll have it on the drive tonight. But having said that, if Moulton is in the studio, Grizz, you might want to warn him. All right? I don't want to drop something on him and then just all of a sudden have it. Oh,
stepping back, loads up, looks long, throws, end zone, touchdown! Alabama! The Smith. Touchdown, Alabama. And the Crimson Tide has once again ascended to the top of the college football
I hate to do
mountain.
that to me.
Their 5th national championship in 9 years. Their 17th overall.
Throwing stuff in
and for Coach Nick Saban, a career 6th national championship, a number matched only by the legendary Paul Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
Alabama is back as the champion of college football. How about that?
I hate to do that to him. Is he okay? He didn't fall over. He didn't throw anything through the glass window or anything, did he?
No, we're good.
Okay.
No. We were talking to each other. Yeah.
I know you're good. I was worried about
we were
him.
talking to each other.
Oh, okay.
AJ gets the snap. Pressure. Screen. Yeldon. 30, 25.
Make
20.
a man miss.
That's right. He's going to go.
Yes!
He's going to go. Touchdown. T.J. Yeldon. T.J. Yeldon on a screen. 28 yards.
Yeah, see, that one doesn't bother him, though. Because he, doesn't like LSU like the rest of us. The other one would bother him. The other one would, I would assume he was at the other one, too. I mean, I was there. I assume he was there for 2nd and 26. He was getting ready to party on Peachtree. Not so fast, my friend.
He partied last year.
He did party last year. You know what
they do have the Ringo call from his perspective.
You know what?
I don't think I should play that.
Don't play that. You know what they say about a blind squirrel, though, right? I mean, just saying. Every once in a while.
I think I heard that this morning.
Every 40 years. Oh, did you? Every 40 years or so, a blind squirrel will find that nut. Funny. All right, so do we know if we're going to have any luck? If we're going to have Saban? No?
I didn't have the button ready.
No, not going to have Saban live. All right, we won't have that live for you. We will, however, have Braves baseball coming up. At Braves, they could have saved a few of those runs from last night. They didn't have to.
Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? And they're like 3-9 in day games. And Charlie Morton, I think, pitched the last 2 day games and got shellacked. So, yeah, hopefully they saved some runs last night.
Yeah. So we'll see if they can get it going today again and keep it rolling today. Because they have to keep it rolling because the Mets aren't going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. So keep that in mind. All right, that's going to do it for us. Braves are coming up later on to drive. Want to get some Feinbaum in here? Tune in, see what Nick Saban said. You can go over and check out the Blitz, the afternoon Blitz, 2 to 4. They should have Saban sound over there from his State of the Tide address. It's all coming up. For Coach Grizz, I am Thom Abraham, and this is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.